What is a classic? Because as of right now, Alfredo 2, Let God Sort Him Out, shouldn't be mentioned in the same breath as an Illmatic or Reasonable Doubt.
Hey yo, Eeze!
Yo, what's the deal, fam? It's your man Eeze, top of the morning out here on this morning walk. Hope you all are doing well today. What are we talking about today? Let's talk about instant classics and how I believe that's nonsensical and pretty much impossible if you're really thinking about it, man. I will preface this video by stating the last time I probably ever thought of an album being an instant classic, probably Little Brother to Listening. And I tell you why. Because it checks so many different boxes: variety, content, creativity, production, and the list goes on and on. But now we're in a position presently where everything is a classic. I mean, like, y'all don't even, not y'all, yeah, we're speaking generally, don't take it personally. Y'all won't even give an album time to breathe before you want to internet calling it a classic, let alone album of the year. Classic, yo, this is a classic, yo. So you mean to tell me when we say classic, these particular albums are in the same realm and room as, I don't know, an Illmatic, right? Perhaps a Life After Death, a Reasonable Doubt, you know, things of that nature. You mean to tell me that these albums that you speak of are in the same room as those illustrious projects after being out for 3 days? Let's start making sense of this. I don't want to be the old dude in the room, but we got to uphold some principles and some estimation, because classics take time. You didn't dissect all the lyrics. The production you didn't dissect. Better yet, did you even fully grasp the artist's direction or intention? No. And I think the problem with it is we live in the world of echo chambers, right? Where a bunch of people are so used to speaking to people who think just like them, and then you try to rewrite history and rewrite the rules and principles when you step outside of those very rooms, thinking as though you could convince someone else. No, I'm open to discussion, I'm open to discourse, but calling everything a classic is ridiculous, and it's a slap in the face to all the great projects that have been released throughout the course of our lifetimes. Instant classic. Yo, that album don't got no skips. Fam, you listen to it 2 or 3 times. I get it. It's perfectly fine to like an album, to love an album, to appreciate an album, to understand or even feel as though an album has top-notch replay value. I get that too. But a classic in 48 to 72 hours? Why? Because ranking system. Everyone wants their favorite artist to be top 5 or top 10. So now you have to create narratives that even put them in the conversation. And I seen all this happening, and I know people are gonna get upset, but when the Griselda movement first started, or happened started to, let's say, flourish and gain some traction, everything these dudes put out, they were saying it was a classic. Westside in particular. And I'm saying to myself, wow, people really letting this slide, right? Devaluing the word classic. The word classic had became devalued. So then dudes just start releasing anything and calling it a classic. And then their cult following in the echo chamber will start regurgitating the same old nonsense. And before you have it, we got dudes who've been in the game for 5 or 6 years calling every album in their discography a classic or album of the year. And what other genre and what other sector in life would that be able to, would that be accepted? So if everything is classic, how are you improving? Everything is fire, everything is immaculate, everything is The best thing since sliced bread? The problem is people don't even know what a classic is anymore. Every time y'all do this, you just water down the word classic, the term and what it's meant over time. But I can tell a lot of cats don't even care about history in that sense as much as they try to rewrite it. So me even preaching to or even giving this message probably is not even going to penetrate the heart of many, because a lot of people in hip hop nowadays don't even care about the history of it. We'll rewrite anything. Really have people out here thinking that Griselda created boom bap. I'm the best this, I'm the best that. Could you imagine in 94 Nines talking about, yo, I got this classic album, or my album is a classic, before people even hear it? Dudes would have crucified them, man. They had a certain confidence and bravado, and but they understood the assignment. Dudes would just record, and I know it's a different time, but just because it's a different time don't always mean you gotta be running your mouth and using certain words as marketing. And I'm kind of upset with the fan bases with this. And some people in the comment section like, yo, well, I agree with you, you know, but they did call Magic and KD3 and other albums instant classics too. I didn't. I'm the biggest Nas fan. I don't think you can find, like, I don't ever remember stating that he had an instant classic. How? Music gotta live with you. You have to live with it. There's been times when you first hear a song, you like it, and you hear it a couple other times, you're like, wow, I was really bumping this. Or there's other times where you completely hated a song, and then you, over time, begin to grasp what they were trying to do and how it connected to the song that was before it, or the subsequent song, or what was the meaning of that lyric. Does it connect to something in a different song? You can't get all of that in 72 hours. Stop rushing the process. Everything is not a classic. It's not. Y'all are devaluing the word classic. And these would be the same people that have said, yo, today's NBA ain't no good, man. They don't compete. It's watered down. And you're doing the same thing in music. Everything is not a classic. And I should have asked you this in the beginning. What exactly is a classic? For me, I think a classic needs to have variety in a sense, right? I think it needs to have a direction. I'm not talking about a conceptual album, but you can often hear it. Like, and when I say variety, I mean content. I mean even different tempos, different swings. Like, you can literally have a beat, 4 different beats, same BPM. It could be 85. And depending upon the swing of the hi-hat, or how early the kick hits, or how late the snare drum comes in, it give you a totally different feel. So when I say albums are linear, it's not always about the BPMs. It's about the approach, right? Classic albums have all of that. Mixing, mastering, intentionality, even the right features. It's so many different elements that go into a classic. And it's always is ever evolving. So I don't think we can ever establish that in 48 to 72 hours. I think that you can, in fact, know that an album is a game changer, and it may change music, or it's hot, or it's fire. Never disputing that. But I think as fans, we're being in a rush to elevate artists so much to where you start pushing their own rhetoric. Everything is not a classic. I'm sorry. If I don't want to hear that word. Give it at least a year to breathe. Because y'all be on, I'm speaking generally, y'all be on the next album in 3 weeks. But yet you called the album that you were listening to 3 weeks ago a classic. Come on, man. What are we in a rush to get to? Why are we so quick to crown some of these recordings when some of them is just glorified mixtapes at best? And I'm gonna say it. Griselda has given us many glorified mixtapes, and y'all call them classics, classic albums. If that's the case, I can go back and '02 to '05 and start naming LOX and G Unit mixtapes as classics and market them as albums. Because that's what y'all be doing. And as a fan of music, I just hate when we start devaluing things. Like, people take time to produce albums, to write albums, find direction, get on the phone and ask for collaborations, or find the right engineer, find the right home for distribution, all of these things. And then you have individuals who may not even put half the effort into any of those things. And the music just sounds like it came off a conveyor belt. Cookie cutter. And y'all sit there and call it classic. I really don't understand that. And when you ask them, what does the word classic mean to you? What's the goal? How does it make you feel? Are there any principles aligned with the classic? No one can tell you anything. They'll just say, yo, you hating, or nah. What is a classic? Because as of right now, Alfredo 2, Let God Sort Them Out, shouldn't be mentioned in the same breath as an Illmatic or Reasonable Doubt. When you start talking classics, or maybe we should take the Deion Sanders approach into Hall of Fame and understand that it should be different tiers, because everybody is not that guy. Just because you're the Hall of Fame don't mean you prime time. Maybe we should take that approach when it comes to classics, because y'all be in the rush to call everything a classic and be lying to yourselves. There's no way. There's no way. Just say you like this particular type of rap. That don't make it a classic though, especially in less than a week. That's it. Just say, I like this particular rap. I like boom bap. I like specific tempos. I like rap for the sake of rapping. I don't need songwriting. I don't need dope production or a variety of production. I just like beats and rhymes. Say that. But a classic album is much more than that. And it's how can I put this? This idea that everything is a classic is why people say the music industry is dying or falling to pieces. Because these label heads and these major companies, parent companies, think the same way. They have devalued everything. So I would implore you all to step outside the echo chamber and stop listening to regurgitated comments that are on a loop about particular artists, and start listening for yourself. You ain't gotta always read the headlines. Listen to the music. I think that's the biggest thing that's missing. People aren't listening anymore. They are so excited about narratives and being the first to say something and speak that they devalue certain terms. And classic is one of them. And I'm not talking about doing reaction videos and stuff. No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a reaction video. But you can't react to an album that dropped at midnight and you do a live reaction at 5 a.m. and then 40 minutes into the joint, you saying it's a classic. How? There's no way you dissected that. You don't understand the direction of the album. You may have an idea. You've made no connections. I'm confused, man. I really love music, but to see or read certain things, you'd be like, nah, come on, man. You're doing too much. Everything is not a classic. Everything is not a classic. If you're gonna call everything a classic, we need to start having tiers in different rooms. Because there's no way some of these classics that dropped, or classics that's dropped in the last two years, are in the same room as these timeless classics. Come on. Come on now, y'all. That's all I got. I'm about to finish up my walk. Health is wealth. Stay hydrated. Chase down your dreams and goals and aspirations. Salute to you and your family. Hope everybody's doing well. And remember, here at the Eeze Experience, ain't no drama, ain't no beef, no nonsensical back and forth. just mature discourse. I'll see y'all in the comment section. Go get your share.
Hey, yo, Eeze.